Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin. We are going to be looking at the most active stocks on Yahoo Finance as of today. It looks like we have NVIDIA, DJT, no shocker there, Tesla, SMC, and Palantir. Let's go ahead and look at NVIDIA. Now, if you've never seen my videos before, I do use one of my own personal proprietary models that I've built inside of Google Finance. The reason why I like to show it is because I want everyone to know that you have access to use data, and it is free. You do not need to pay for services. You do not need to buy apps. All you need to do is have a little bit of gumption, a whole lot of creativity, and a internet connection. Now, if we're looking here at what we see in NVIDIA, the thing that I like, ooh, this is definitely not accurate data. What we're going to do is go ahead and update this. I'm going to move this, and you're going to see exactly how I do this. I'm going to move this to 247, which gives me those amount of days. I'm going to take the price that came in today so that we can populate that in. Again, this is one of the problems that I will say that I have with Google Finance in general is that the data is not always the most reliable. The reason why is because A, it's free, B, it's not great. C, Google doesn't make their money off of their Google Finance like formula that exists inside of their sheets. They make it off of selling you ads, baby. Now, if we look at what we have here, what you're going to notice over NVIDIA, especially looking back over the past month through October, you saw mostly red with black lettering. That means it's 2 standard deviations above its mean. You're going to see the red lettering with a white background. That means it's 3 standard deviations above its mean. Now you've seen very recently coming into today, you saw green background with black lettering. That means it was right in the standard distribution range. What do you see today, boys and girls? You see a massive pop in the stock where we went from 139 yesterday to 145. We are at 4% today, 4.5% over 5 days, 7.25% over 15 days, nearly 10% over 1 month, and 25% over 3 months. We are positive over 50% in the past 6 months as too. So if we look at the chart, one of the things that I like to see here is that NVIDIA is breaking out on pretty good volume relative to what we've seen, as well as we saw a gap up. Now, if we look, what we're seeing here is from the signals. We didn't have a go long. We did have a go short in the short term. We lost the go long in the intermediate and the longer term. Now the bullishness is starting to return. That's what I like. In the trend, we're going from bearishness to bullishness as of tomorrow. I will like to see two of those bullish in a row, similar to what we see here. I need to see two as a confirmation that we're seeing a transition. So tomorrow is not going to be enough. It's going to be the next day as well. We'll probably see some bullishness inside of the intermediate, and we continue to see the bullishness in the longer term. Now, if we're going to look at the overall trade range or the sentiment here, what it looks like, to be fair, is that the sentiment is continuing to rise in NVIDIA. The reason why, as you could expect, is that sentiment fell for a few days leading into today. We're going from below 50%. And this indicator here, if you've never seen this, you've never watched any of my videos, welcome, first off. The thing is that this indicator likes to stay around 50%. Why, you ask? It's because the market is in a tug of war between bullishness and bearishness. And NVIDIA is generally bullish. But leading into the day after the election, you can see it got down to 54%. Now that was on a 2-day rolling average, but as you can tell, it wanted to pop right back up above its 15-day moving average. So what you want to do if you're looking at something that's bearish or bullish, excuse me, you want to buy when it's under its 15-day moving average, like you had here in October or here in September, here in October. You want to sell when it gets near 60%, buy as it starts to dip back down, and you are going to make yourself some money. Now, if we are looking at the trading signals, the thing that I like to see here is that we've got some bearishness. The reason why I like the bearishness inside of NVIDIA at the moment is because if we are going to say that we've got bullishness returning, we want to see the bearishness kind of starting to evaporate. And as you'd expect, we're going to see three of the bull key three as of tomorrow. We've got some falling peaks, some coming bears. We've got some small bulls that have kind of worn themselves out. But what we're expecting to see long term is a real return to bullishness inside of NVIDIA. Now we're going to go ahead and look here, and I'm going to update this just before we get to the next thing because I want to make sure that I get my correlation to my dollar. And the reason why that matters to me is because this indicator right here, the correlation to the dollar for NVIDIA, what you can see is that currently NVIDIA and the dollar have a very high correlation. And wouldn't you know it, if we take a really quick peek at what happened inside of the dollar today, the dollar was most likely up. Now, if you've never paid attention to global macro or just general trends, the idea that the dollar's up today, it went up to $29.56. That's bonkers when I think about what we saw today. See, and even this is what I can't stand sometimes. Sometimes I can't stand this because when I look, there is no reason why this shouldn't actually be. Let me look here. There's absolutely no reason. Yeah, see, like it goes to 74, K74. Is that not K74? Look, it's not even coming through. This is one of the problems that you sometimes have with Google Finance data. Again, this is why I consistently tell people it is a great way to get learning about how to be able to build a model, but it's not the best way to have an individual model. It's actually why I built something that's actually like this. So if you look at NVIDIA here, you're going to see that this is the most important pieces of my actual thing. You can see, wow, we got a great breakout. We got great volume. We are bullish. We're above the trade. We've got higher lows. We've got all the things that you want to see. Now that we've refreshed it, you can see this amazing gap up inside of the dollar. That's crazy. Like that's absolutely a nuts move when you consider what's actually happening. The fact the dollar's getting stronger, while we're going to do deficit spending, rates completely blew out, and you are seeing stocks just moon. Wow, I just welcome back. Donald Trump is so back in America. Let's look at the actual, just the overall charts here in NVIDIA. It'll take a second for these to load. You can see here the long-term chart. It looks like we've been bullish. We've seen some dips. We've seen some rips. What we continue to see is higher highs and higher lows, and I love it. Inside of the daily sentiment indicator, we are well above the 50% range. We're at 60.0. Now, if you heard what I said earlier, this indicator is more based on daily sentiment. Now, I'm not saying that you can't stay at 60% and just continue to ride, but it's really highly unlikely. The thing that I love, though, if I think about the long-term bullishness inside of NVIDIA, is that it has a higher high on lower volume. The reason why lower volume matters to me is because I like to see generally things are taking the stairs up and the escalator down. When you are seeing a move like this, it is showing you that you get consistent buying inside of either automatic like ETFs, mutual funds, whatever it is, but people are not, they are price insensitive when it comes to NVIDIA. The volatility is starting to fall over, the correlation is starting to fall over, and the price is just starting to rise, which if you don't understand what that means, as the volatility starts to roll over and the price correlation of volatility rolls over, think about it, two negatives will make a positive. Generally, the price will go sideways to up, which is really nice to see. And what I love here is that we're getting to the top end of the range. Now, what I need to see is I want to see this range get higher. I want to see it break up above 153. I need a higher high, but I love that the bottom is starting to really rise up. Obviously, buying around 132 would have been a great time if you would have bought on Halloween, but ooh, spooky things were out that day. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. I send you 25 stocks to your inbox every single Sunday. Stocks breaking out between $5 and $20. Stocks breaking out to one-year highs. Stocks breaking out to all-time highs. It is a great list to get your trading week started. I'll talk to you soon.